For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News, Zhenyuanlong suni, new feather-winged dinosaur species discovered. A new species of dinosaur with bird-like wings has come to light in China's rocks dating to some 125 million years ago. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News, and let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. So let's take a look.
What's with this guy's teeth?
Yeah, that is quite interesting. This looks like some species of dromaeosaur. Um, yeah, they're very elongated. This might be
I
during.
just thought it looked like he had braces.
Well, yeah, it does. I'd say it. This is coming from an article that was before the time that lips have been put back onto different species of dinosaurs. So that might be why some of the teeth are a bit too exposed. So let's keep looking. The new dinosaur named Zhenyuanlong suni belonged to a family of feathered meat eaters that was widespread during the Cretaceous period. The species is a close cousin of the famous Velociraptor and is the largest dinosaur ever to have a set of bird-like wings. Um, there are a wide range of different species of dromaeosaur, which is likely what this species is, that had feathers that protruded off their arms that would have resembled a wing to some extent. But would this animal be specifically a close relative of Velociraptor? Probably not. This animal existed around 125 million years ago, which is somewhere around, let's see, I'd say 50 million years before Velociraptor would have evolved. So it'd be still a distant relative, even if Velociraptor was a direct descendant. It also seems to have a bit broader of a skull compared to Velociraptor, but it's always possible for its evolution for it to have had a much more narrow skull later on with different species. Near complete skeleton of Zhenyuanlong suni was studied by paleontologist Dr. C. Bursate from of the University of Edinburgh, headed people, UK, and Professor Yangsheng Liu from the Chinese Academy of Geological Sciences Institute of Geology. Now let's take a look at another species of dromaeosaur. This is one of the largest species to exist, but it doesn't reach the size of Utah raptor or Dakota raptor. However, this is a kilobator, which lived in Mongolia around 90 million years ago. It's become a bit more well known in previous years, and this animal could reach over 15 feet in length and probably weigh up to 800 pounds or pushing over 350 kilograms, probably around 5 meters in length. And this animal would have hunted different species of smaller individuals of sauropods over in early late Cretaceous Mongolia, as well as probably feeding on some earlier species of ceratopsian, so dinosaurs related to Triceratops. These look like young individuals of a calibrator. They look far too lightly built for full grown species. The tail of a calibrator, like larger dromaeosaur species, was quite robust. These seem like they're as thin as a twig, or I'd say as thin as like the end of certain sauropod tails. This individual also looks quite thin compared to what an adult killer would look like. Now, would the youngsters have been much more lightly built compared to the adults? I believe that is still up. That's still up for debate, as when it comes to many species of dromaeosaur related to a killer. Now let's head back to the article. Zhenyuan Longasunai grew to more than 5 feet or 1.5 meters in length. Its wings were very short compared with other dinosaurs in the same family and consisted of multiple layers of large feathers, complex structures made up of fine branches stemming from a central shaft. It is interesting that they're describing the arms as wings, considering dromaeosaurs did not have wings. There were certain species, well, okay, that's not entirely true. However, certain species of dromaeosaurs, such as the Microraptorans, had um, arm or wing-like arms that could allow them to glide, but not so much couldn't fly at all. So this is a smaller species of dromaeosaur. It's around 5 feet. Velociraptor could reach around 6 feet or a little under 2 meters in length. Although larger feathered dinosaurs have been identified before, none have possessed such complex wings made up of quill pen like feathers. I am wondering if this dromaeosaur had a more Microraptoran sort of anatomy to it. Despite having bird like wings, Zhenyuanlong suni probably could not fly, at least not using the same type of powerful muscle driven flight as modern birds. It is unclear what function the short wings served. Well, based on the depiction of the animal as well as this fossil, I'm guessing if it did have some ability to drift in the air, it would probably just glide. But there are already several different species of prehistoric bird by the early Cretaceous, especially around 120 different parts of China as well as North America. So let's take a look at another species of animal. Now, before that, this is a very well preserved skeleton. I mean, most of the, basically all of the rib cage, the limbs, head, almost everything's intact. Then you can see the outwards feather impressions. Looks really good. So this animal has been misused quite often. So this is Micropachycephalosaurus, which is not a true member of the Pachycephalosaur lineage. It used to be. However, there were changes after around 2007 when this individual was once a or described as a close relative of Pachycephalosaurus, homocephaly, now is simply a member of the macrocephalian lineage of dinosaurs, which would also include the ceratopsians. So it's a very broad lineage. They first evolved somewhere around 160 million years ago and would go extinct at the end of the Cretaceous around 66 million years ago. But what specifically, in where specifically in the lineage does Micropachycephalosaurus stand in is still up for debate. This animal was quite small, not reaching much more than 3.3 feet, around a meter in length, and probably weighing somewhere around 20 to 30 pounds at most. And it barely consisted of a dome, unlike true
I
different
thought you were
species
gonna
of.
say it was much smaller. This picture makes it look tiny.
This could be a younger individual, but even compared to other members of the Pachycephalosaur family, it's quite small.
No,
And then
I thought
obviously
you were gonna say it was like 15 ounces or something.
I wouldn't doubt that the average size of this animal is probably 2 or 2.5 feet, maybe 3.3 feet. It's just a large individual. But no, I understand. There were smaller species of ceratopsian, which this animal is related to, that were even smaller, like 1.5 feet or barely half a meter in length.
They didn't weigh 15 ounces.
No. True dinosaurs during the early Cretaceous period that would have weighed that much would have been different species of Microraptorans, and then you would have maybe even early species of prehistoric bird, but no true dinosaurs. That's supposed to be a joke. This new dinosaur is one of the closest cousins of Velociraptor. I just find that hard to believe, but it looks just like a bird. I don't think it does. Unless unless you're
Looks like a
basing
very
off of the
violent bird.
yeah, even if you're basing off of the fossil, that's capable of doing a lot more damage than, well, some birds today. Anyway, but it looks okay. It's a dinosaur with huge wings made up of quill pen feathers, just like an eagle or a vulture. The movies have it wrong. This is what Velociraptor would have looked like too. Uh, Velociraptor has a very thin, narrow snout. This dromaeosaur, what it's showing, is much more heavily built than the Velociraptoran lineage, which would evolve much later in the Cretaceous, like somewhere around 70 to 72 million years ago. Now, this is also, I believe, in China. Velociraptor was down in Mongolia. It's not to say that Velociraptor didn't occasionally make it into China. It likely did. But this animal is much more heavily built. Now let's take a look at another species of dinosaur. This animal is also not often mentioned. This is from Lake Cretaceous, China, around 71 million years ago during the beginning of the Maastrichtian stage of the Cretaceous. This is Teneus, which is a member of the Hadrosaur family, so it is not necessarily a true hadrosaur. However, This animal only reached somewhere around 23 feet in length or pushing 7 meters and probably weighed about 2 tons and just simply feeding on different species of young conifers in the region, but most likely feeding on a wide variety of different species of late Cretaceous flowers as well as ferns. They did have a very complex feeding structure, um, tooth structure. This animal likely had over several hundred teeth inside of its mouth and likely had to deal with tyrannosaurs in that region, such as Tarbosaurus. It would have made a much easier meal compared to the different species of ankylosaur, sauropods, and even therizinosaur in the region at the time. Professor Liu added the western part of Liaoning province in China is one of the most famous places in the world for finding dinosaurs. The first feathered dinosaurs were found here, and now our discovery of Zhenyuanlong suni indicates that there is an even higher diversity of feathered dinosaurs than we thought. It's amazing that new feathered dinosaurs are still being found. Well, it's good to see that we have this distinct species of dromaeosaur, which is odd that they haven't even mentioned the family. They just um, kept stating that it was related to Velociraptor.
Why are they saying it's amazing that there's feathered ones still being found? I mean, don't we just keep finding new dinosaurs?
Um, yeah, true. Um, well, it's just that China tends to have the largest concentration of dinosaurs preserved with feathers compared to any other place. I'd say, though, probably North America has the best dinosaurs that come out of it because we have T Rex and Triceratops. Anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite species of dromaeosaur is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share the show with everyone you know because nothing is better than all animals all the time.